of what you've done if you've been writing your notes and in your notebook. I think we were talking about answer writing in a question also. Yes, we had done a question also. So quickly, if you can check where we had stopped, till then I'll just check if any questions have been asked. So no questions. So good morning to all. Global pattern of circulation. Okay, Mega. Thank you. I remember that. और आज उसी circulation से जुड़ा हुआ हम कुछ करने वाले हैं. We're going to do something related to that circulation in terms of something which is not just because of the surface factors, something which is going deep sea also. So आज वो भी आएगा. So today we are going to talk about salinity, temperature, their variations in the ocean, and then how does that impact the chemistry of the oceans? And because of the chemistry of the ocean, because of the density variation, can some currents be triggered because of that also? So that is what we are going to look at. I hope everyone is clear on this. Just putting my phone to silence so that we are not disturbed. Due to health issues, I could not complete yesterday's homework. But yeah, kar lijiye. Everyone, please keep doing that. And I have requested, somebody was talking about environment. Please make sure you're looking at the environment course, which is in GS. You can do it as a recording also. जैसे भी अपना time हो निकालिएगा. There's a lot of work happening there also. And on the weekend, we are coming up with a lot of MCQ questions for prelims on environment. Don't miss that. Okay, I'm not uploading any slide this now. Should I? Just let me check. Okay, so everyone has joined in. Let us start the class then. So time environment MCQ का मनीष कुछ evening रखने वाले. Evening का time होगा. अभी I've not decided. I'll put it on that group पे डाल देंगे. ठीक है? चलिए. So we have talked about ocean currents. Quickly tell me about ocean currents. What causes ocean currents? If you remember. What are ocean currents? He said it is to do with water dynamism. Yes, remember that. And ocean currents are movement of water in narrow channels in fairly defined direction over long distances. ऐसा था कुछ? These were the ocean currents. So my question to all of you is, what are the factors? What are the factors that are responsible for currents? Movement of water. Why ocean currents? Okay, Shantanu says, very good. Frictional drag of water. Perfectly okay. I want to say, Shantanu, a bigger thing is, remember, mega density differentiation तो नहीं होगा, density driven हो सकता है. Heat exchange, the biggest idea behind that. Yes, winds are driving it because of difference in pressure, then difference in temperature. Many things happen because of that. Factors, planetary winds. Yes, winds are driving it. Principal factors, we are looking at that. And then we were looking at density, which is in itself a function of temperature and salinity. Salinity and temperature of the water will decide the density or not? Everyone, I hope you're with me. Do you understand? Do you capture that? So that is what I want everyone to look at and understand where we are operating in this. Clear? Okay. So let us decide further. Frictional drag, density is there. There were factors outside the sea, outside oceans, factors within ocean, factors due to Earth's rotation. Remember? Earth's rotation. And there were factors. These are factors which are causing currents. These are modifying factors. Once currents are created, they are going to modify them. These factors were coastline, shape of coastline for surface feature, and ocean bottom relief for deep sea currents. Bilkul theek hai, mega, very good. Ocean bottom relief. And I think I had devoted fairly good amount of time to this, and most of you remember. But take recap. 5 minutes we were talking about ocean currents. Is everyone okay? So ocean currents, we also classified them as warm currents, and we also classified them as cool currents. Warm currents and cool currents. Hi Purvi, good morning to all students. जिनका मैंने नाम नहीं लिया है, good morning, welcome, and you are in time, and I would want everyone to participate. Yes, Purvi, you missed a small recap because we are starting the topic after a gap, तो इसलिए मैं एक recap दे रहा हूँ. Everyone, I'm talking about the recap in this. Are you with me on this? Clear? चलिए, let us look at this further. Let us look at this further. What do I have here? Warm current means the water is warm compared to the surrounding. Cool current means the water is cold compared to the surrounding. So there is no absolute temperature at which a current will be called warm current or a current will be called cool current. Do we get that? It's relative. So one more thing I told you about two terms, upwelling and downwelling. Upwelling and downwelling. Vertical sinking of ocean waters. Vertical sinking of ocean waters is called downwelling. Do we get that? Vertical rising up of ocean water is called upwelling. Surface water going at the bottom. Surface water going at the bottom, downwelling. Deep sea water coming on the surface, upwelling. Remember in environment we talked about something called as ocean, the biogeochemical cycle. The resources which have got stuck at the bottom, they will come up in the upwelling zones. There are fairly defined upwelling zones in the world. They are fairly defined upwelling zones in the world, and these zones generally lie on the western margin, on the western tropical subtropical margins of the continent. Western tropical subtropical margins of the continent. Why? Because of the trade winds. Trade winds push the coastal water away from the coast. If this is the coast and this is the wind flowing, what wind is this? Offshore wind. So this will push the surface water away from the coast. Do we get that? If this is the ocean, if the surface water is being pushed away from the coast towards this side, will the surface water level, which was like this, will it tilt or not? Do we get that? Because of which wind? Offshore wind. Because of offshore wind is doing that. As a result, to compensate for a low pressure over here, because यहाँ से push out हो रहा है ना, vacuum is created. The water from the bottom starts coming up, brings cold, nutritious water ऊपर लेकर आता है. Is everyone with me on this? Upwelling. Tropical, subtropical areas, western margin. Tropical, subtropical area, western margin. Often results in this area, as it is, often results in what? Deserts. So off the coast of these deserts, we can find upwelling happening. Do we get that? Generally, it is found here. Generally, tropical, subtropical, western margin. But can there be specific cases? Can there be specific cases? This is Africa, everyone. This is Africa. This is trade wind. This is trade wind. True. We have upwelling happening in this region. We have upwelling happening in this region. What region is this? Which current? वेनेजुएला करंट. इधर कौन सा करंट है? बताओ कौन सा आइलैंड ग्रुप है जिसका करंट है यहाँ पर? नाम बताओ. कैनेरी करंट. एब्सोल्युटली कैनेरी करंट. कैनेरी आइलैंड है ना. इधर कैनेरी आइलैंड है, मदेरा आइलैंड है, और क्या है? केप वर्डे आइलैंड. इस क्लस्टर का कोई नाम है? कैनेरी, मदेरा, केप वर्डे. डू वी कॉल दिस क्लस्टर? Any name of this cluster of islands over here? Micronesia. Yes, Micronesia. एक बार माइक्रोनेशिया, मिलानेशिया, तो यहाँ पर होता है मैक्रोनेशिया आइलैंड. इज एवरीवन ओके? चलिए, ये तो खैर ऐसे ही ज्योग्राफी की बात हो गई. आई हैव अ क्वेश्चन फॉर ऑल ऑफ यू. आई हैव अ क्वेश्चन फॉर ऑल ऑफ यू. यस. Can I expect upwelling to happen on the eastern side Somalia coast? This is Somalia, no? यहाँ सोमालिया है. Can there be upwelling on this coast? No, obviously no, it cannot be there. But we have a cold Somali current. How is that possible? How is that possible? So now that is what I said. Generally, where are they found? They are found on the western side. But there can be upwelling other cases also, specifically in certain areas under special conditions. So do you know, during the southwest monsoon, the entire circulation of Indian Ocean gets reversed. If the circulation gets reversed, do you know that the winds from the southern hemisphere take a turn by 90 degrees to become our southwest monsoon? True or not? Now tell me, does Somalia come under offshore wind or not? Does Somalia come under offshore wind or not? True. So Somalia जब offshore होगा तो यहाँ पर ठंडा पानी आ जाएगा. Will it cool this area or not? True. Will the situation remain Throughout the year or some parts of the year? Throughout the year or some parts of the year? Some parts of the year. So can I say this is not an annual phenomena? Can I say this is regional and temporal phenomena? Is everyone okay? So Somali current is a regional and temporal phenomena. Can I say because of this? Can I say because of this, the temperature on Eastern Indian Ocean and Western Indian Ocean can change for temporary times? Can it make the Western Indian Ocean colder? Yes. If it is cold, what pressure will be there on the West Indian Ocean? What pressure will be there on the West Indian Ocean? Sir, high pressure. Get that? Otherwise, this whole area, Africa is hot, no? Summers, also, Africa is also hot. The ocean is also hot, but upwelling caused it to become cold. Yes. When Somali current is not there, then what will happen? No upwelling. Will normalcy restore or not? Will normalcy restore or not? Yes, sir. So, will this become warm? True. Do you know off the coast of Australia, कुछ upwelling होती है? Off the coast of Australia, upwelling normal है. Just by this logic, same logic, west coast. So, उधर भी Australia का भी हो सकता है. Do you see one reason that in a year, sometimes west will be warm and east cold, and sometimes east will be warm and west cold? Possible? Possible? Will the pressures also change? High pressure sometime, low pressure sometime. Yes. What do we call this? El Nino in Pacific Ocean, not in Indian Ocean. What do we call it in Indian Ocean? क्या नाम है इसका जल्दी बता दो? IOD, Indian Ocean Dipole. समझ में आ गया? Sometimes hot and cold. This thing is happening in the Indian Ocean. Is this happening in the Atlantic Ocean? Yes. Is this happening in the Pacific Ocean? Yes. Pacific Ocean, does it have a name? El Nino Southern Oscillation. We call it ENSO. El Nino Southern Oscillation. What happens in that? Sometimes El Nino, sometimes La Nina. Sometimes El Nino, sometimes La Nina. इंडिया में क्या होता है? इंडिया में समटाइम्स पॉजिटिव आईओडी, समटाइम्स नेगेटिव आईओडी, पॉजिटिव आईओडी, नेगेटिव आईओडी. इज एवरीवन ओके? तो ये आईओडी है. Who is responsible? Basic concepts of currents are responsible. Acha, tell me one more thing, because I want my student to have a thinking. Is this the only reason that will cause the change in temperature and therefore the change in temperature in the Eastern and Western Ocean? Is this the only reason, or can there be multiple other reasons? Can there be multiple other reasons? Can it also be that the influence of one ocean can change the influence of other ocean? True. Remember the idea of net zero. So all the factors working together, if they cause one side to be heated and other side to be cold, this situation will be very well defined. But if the factors are cancelling out, can I say IOD will become weak? IOD, this difference will not be there. That is called a neutral state. When both the sides are normal, ऐसा कुछ फर्क नहीं. But one side is getting heated up, positive IOD. If that side gets cooled up, negative IOD. Positive IOD, negative IOD. Is everyone okay? Neutral, positive, negative. Similarly, in ENSO, what do we have? El Nino, neutral, La Nina. El Nino, neutral, La Nina. True. And is in El Nino also, is upwelling impacted or not? Upwelling of the Peruvian current, is it impacted or not? True. Can I say multiple factors are there? So one factor I've told you, so keep that in mind. Next question I have for you. ये जो इतना सारा हमने बात किया, this is just a recap of current so that you can come back into that oceanography mode, and if you have any doubts and questions, you can very well ask me. Next question is, does it impact human life? If yes, how? How does it impact? Quickly, on a piece of paper, ocean temperature changing, how does it impact human life? Human life पे इसका क्या असर है? जल्दी से सोच के बताइए. Please have a look and let me know. Okay, quickly. Can there be positive impacts? Can there be negative impacts? So let us look at positive impacts first. So what are positive impacts? Ocean currents, what can they do? What are the positive impacts? Bring minerals and nutrients. So upwelling will bring up nutrients. Okay, perfect. Nutrients, that means food chain. Food chain means for us economic benefit. Economic benefit means fishing. Fishing related industry. So that's one. Taken, good point. Second is, it moderates the climate. Yes, it moderates the climate. How does it moderate the climate? Say, for example, warm Gulf Stream. You read a lot about it. You read a lot about it that this keeps British type climate warm, British type climate warm also, moist also, rainfall is also there. You've heard of the Russian port, Russian region of Murmansk, ice free. But then it can, like cold currents can have the negative impact. Cold currents have the drying effect. Yes or no? So desert banate. But then that is, I don't know, a negative impact or not. That's a natural process which is happening. That's a process which is happening and that should happen. So we are very much into this. Is everyone with me on this? Perfect. ये भी हो गया. Warm Gulf Stream, British type, Russian Murmansk ice free, that also is done. Now what? aquavelling में न्यूट्रिएंट्स आ रहे हैं, ठीक है. ड्रॉट आता है कहाँ आता है मनीष? फिर मनीष के पॉइंट्स में थोड़ा कम ही ले रहा हूँ आफ्टर माय एक्सपीरियंस ऑन थिंग्स. बट ड्रॉट तो अगर मैंने डेजर्ट की मैंने ड्राई डेसिकेटिंग इफेक्ट कर दिया तो उसमें ड्रॉट आ गया. एनीथिंग एल्स? क्विकली ओशन करंट्स, ह्यूमन लाइफ. So is my audio fine? Everyone. Ruby says the audio is low. Audio fine? Okay. चलिए. So what else? What else? Quickly. Everyone, quickly. हीट बैलेंस वो यहां पर हो गया, यहीं पर इस वाले में हो गया हीट बैलेंस. ओके. व्हाट एल्स? ये हो गया, क्लाइमेट वाला हो गया. आगे बढ़ो. टेल मी समथिंग एल्स. So warm climate, warm whenever is there, it is going to give us moist conditions. Dry is going to cold in this thing. So मैं तो overfishing नहीं यार. Currents की बात हो रही है, impact on human life. Currents का impact on human life. These currents, their reversal can lead to extreme weather events. Say for example, ENSO can have impacts. Yes, no? So ENSO will have extreme weather events or the conditions will totally negative. Positive में भी किसी ने नहीं कहा, navigation में मदद करता है. You can use the currents as an aid to navigation. आपका fuel consumption कम होगा या नहीं होगा? Think about it और बताइए जल्दी से. Chलिए, that shows. This is just a reminder for all of you. Please read. Please revise. If I start my class directly, then what will happen? There is no continuity. So we will miss on that. So my advice to you is please revise. And again, telling you to trust your brainstorming. आपके ब्रेन में कोई आइडियाज का स्टॉर्म नहीं आ रहा है. एक दो फैक्ट आपने रटे हुए हैं. You are unnecessarily going to use them as chewing gum. And then finally say that my answer is coming across as GS answer. है ना? फिर उसको चेक करवाने के लिए मेरे पास भेजेंगे. मेरे पास भी chewing gum कमेंट्स हैं, उनके लिए very clearly not available. So people who are doing that, उनका अगर आंसर आता है तो उस पर एक रिमार्क आ जाएगा not available, sorry, no free time. उनके लिए आने वाला. बाकी लोग के लिए रिक्वेस्ट है, please brainstorm, please have a revision. I know you are sincere in this, so let's make it happen. Is everyone okay? So we are looking at cold current, warm current. They have different impacts. Let's start with the class today. So the topic of the day is first salinity, then we will look at temperature, then we will look at the salt and heat budget, and then we will try and find out what is thermocline. That is what I'm going to talk of today. Is everyone clear? And why did I talk about all these things? Just to rev up things, ताकि आपको थोड़ा थोड़ा याद आ जाए कि हाँ oceans में है. We are just moving out of things on this. Everyone okay? Salinity. So what is salinity? The salt content of the oceans. I have few questions. Quick questions. How much is it? Where from? Where did these salts come from? Yes, and why variable? 3 questions will clear our understanding of what salinity is. And in the end, what we will look at is, we will look at the spatial variations. This will make our answer more geographical. Can I say this will make our answer more science? True. So Kankan is saying degree of saltness in parts per thousand. So Kankan, this is wrong English. ऐसा कोई degree of saltness नाम की कोई चीज नहीं होती है ना? That is why I always insist on students reading standard books or standard material so that you do not end up writing something of that. Is that? So can I say salinity refers to the amount of salt dissolved in a liquid? Yes, the definition of degree of hotness and coldness, that is okay with temperature. The degree of saltness That is not an idea. Amount of salt dissolved, that is what we are looking at. हम इसको किससे measure कर सकते हैं? Can we measure? Do we have a device? This is called selenometer. This device is called selenometer. Do we get that? And the units are pp, parts per thousand. Parts per thousand. The symbol is this. We also call it mille, M-I-L-L-E. Remember when we complete 1000 years, we call it a millennium. So that is what we are talking about. Everyone okay? So पहले तो ये salinity आया कि what is it? It is the amount of salts dissolved. What salts are there? How much are they? What and how much? ये simple वाला question है. What and how much? So let us see what and how much are there. So it has been measured. It has been measured that the average salinity of oceans, all oceans taken together, is around 35 milli. Is everyone okay? 35 point something, 36. So absolute value में फंसना नहीं. Will not get stuck in the absolute value, but average salinity of the ocean is around 35. Everyone with me on this? Can it be more? Well, we have heard of Lake Van in Turkey, Lake Urmia in Iran, Dead Sea. These are few salty bodies of the world. Salty, saline water bodies. अगर आप मुझे कहेंगे एवरेज अगर मुझे लेना हो तो 400, 350, 300. If you want to, just keep an idea. But I would say within Lake Van there will be patches which will have 1000 also. हो सकता है पूरा लेक में some area is very very saline. Dead Sea some part is drying up, so that can be there. So these are average values. Why did I say? My intention was that these are at least 10 times saltier. They are 10 times saltier. And if they are 10 times saltier, can I say denser also? They are denser also, so their density is also high. Salty water is denser water. Why does it change? वो भी हम देखेंगे, but अभी नहीं कर रहे. अभी we are not looking at that, but we will look at that later on this also. Is everyone with me on this? Clear? चलिए, let us go further. What else do I have for you? Average salinity of oceans is this. अच्छा, कौन से salt होते हैं? Generally, when we are talking about salts that are found in the ocean, sodium chloride is the highest percentage of salt, around 78%. After that is magnesium chloride, around 11%. Magnesium chloride, around 11%. Then we have magnesium sulfate, 4%. Calcium sulfate, 3.5%. So do we have to remember? Oh yes, you have to remember how much has been accounted for. 70, 80, 89 plus 7, 96.5. ये ठीक है. If you ask me, what are the most common cations? Sodium and magnesium. There is a preponderance of these. Sodium and magnesium. So calcium भी कम हो जाता है. Calcium is less. इधर calcium हो गया. Do we get that? Anions में. Anions is chlorine and sulfate. Is everyone okay? So these cations and anions, they come together to make salt. They come together to make salt. अगर आप मुझसे पूछें, Cl, chlorine ions are maximum 55%, sodium ions are maximum 30%. तो 85% तो यही है, 85% यही है. उसके बाद आ जाता है sulfate ions, which are around 8%. So who's done this? Selenometer scientists have done this. They have found all that information for us and they have informed us about all this. Is everyone comfortable? Have I told you everything in this? Are we comfortable? ये क्या हो गया? Data to be memorized. Data to be memorized. So what are they? We are talking about this. What are the salts? What is salinity? How much are they? So we have said that 35 is the average one. That is the amount which we have. And it is not just one salt. It's a mixture of many salts. But these are the top 4 in terms of the salt. Will we remember this? One more interesting thing. Remember we were talking about atmosphere. And we were talking about troposphere. And we said dry air mix. What is the meaning of dry air mix? More or less, the air composition remains same across the troposphere. It has been seen that more or less constant across the world. Definitely with spatial variations will be there. But agar averages mein chale, in averages, this is what we have in our oceans. Imagine if there is some place upwelling is happening, cold water is coming. Yes, different salinity. Some place warm water is there, different salinity. Some place cold and warm water, saline and less saline water meet, different salinity. Some place glaciers are melting, different salinity. So there will be variations. And variations, can I call them as anomalies? Yes, anomalies. If you remember the word anomaly. Yes. In atmosphere, we were looking at the distribution of surface temperature, and we used a graphical tool called as a geometric tool called as this thing. What? Isotherm. Remember isotherm? when we're talking about surface variation of temperature. We also use surface variation of pressure, and we called it isobars. We can also use isotherms on the oceans, on the surface. When I'm talking about surface, I'm talking only about surface. I'm not talking about the deeper layers. We will talk about them also, but as of now, on the surface, can I measure it by isotherms? True. So isotherms and isobars are used here also. One new line is used over here, isopicnic line. What is isopicnic? Same temperature points, same pressure points. Isopicnic. What is isopicnic? Same density points. Do we get that? Isopicnic lines are nothing but the same density points. Is everyone with me on this? Clear as up? If any questions, please ask. So this is the first part, getting acquainted with the vocabulary of salinity, where it is, what is it made up of, and then we'll go into where the salts have come from. Second question is, where has it come? This salt I can't say where from. First one done. I hope you're writing also. Next is salinity sources. Salinity sources. Quickly, what comes to your mind when we're talking about salinity sources? Volcanoes. Okay, volcanoes are giving it. Lithospheric debris, marine skeletons, coastal land, rain. एक interesting सा question आया. Rain. Have you heard of rainwater harvesting as a solution to sustained water supply? If rainwater harvesting, if rainwater had salts in it, would we go for rainwater harvesting? Coastal area को भी कहा जा रहा है rainwater करिए, क्योंकि ऐसे saline हो रहे हैं because rain is bringing salts. थोड़ा सा मुश्किल है, but without logic, मैंने कहा ना, logic is something which need not be like very smartly exercised. Let me see that. So मुझे लगता है कुछ तो land से आता होगा. Lithogenous rocks, weathering rivers, possible. मेरे को लगता है. I also believe that there can be some salinity salts might be coming because of volcanoes. So volcanic can be there. So there is ash, there is dust, there is lava. So वो सब जल के आता है, गिर जाता है. True, that's also there. Third one, cosmogenous, outer space से भी आ सकता है. And biogenous, exoskeleton. तो मैं दो सिंपल वाले लेना चाहता हूँ. I want to take simple ones. Let me take about the terrestrial one, rivers. I decided to look for sample of water from river. I found it fresh water. Rivers are giving me fresh water. Get that? I don't find them salty. First of all. So tell me, if I mix non-salty water, yes, will it turn salty? ऐसा तो नहीं, उसमें salt है ही नहीं. But the river में भी salt होता. Oh yes, the RO fellow, the reverse osmosis fellow comes to my home and checks the water, and he tells me, sir, आपके पानी में calcium होता है, थोड़ा कम करना पड़ेगा. I have also seen at the mouth of the tap a powder getting deposited. Yeah, that is calcium. That is a lot of calcium, and a lot of calcium is being constantly added. It is being added to oceans regularly, all the time. It is being added. I don't know how many of you actually broken and tasted that salt from the tap. Yeah, that I have tasted it. It is tasteless. It is like chalk. It is tasteless. Yeah, that there are children who have this habit of licking walls. ऐसा देखा आपने, मिट्टी खाते कुछ बच्चे. They have habit of eating mud and licking chalks and walls. इस बहाने दिवाली की cleaning भी हो जाता है. Yes. So before Diwali, you release those kids. They will lick up all the walls. सब उनको आजादी हो जाए. Generally, the doctor says that is because of calcium deficiency. Yeah, that they're seeking calcium. I don't know whether it is happening or not. My classmate used to eat all chalks. ठीक है, सबको सब अंदर जाना है. And whatever the body will take, and rest will be secreted out. Is everyone okay? So that is chalk, and chalk is not salty. So everyone, if you are saying that the salts from the ocean are from the rivers, then which should have been the salt which is the most dominant? Calcium. Can you see calcium anywhere? Calcium is much lower, 3% only. Calcium ka sulfate is very low. Number one question. Second question is, since constantly for millions of years, more and more rivers are bringing water, rivers are bringing salt in that, should the oceans be progressively getting saltier? True or not? Will they progressively get saltier? That is also not happening. Science is about questioning and looking for evidence, and the evidence is suggesting there is some error. So the salt which we are getting is this. This is not there. Do we get that? Is everyone okay? तो ये theory में एक question mark लग गया. Number one, the salt which the rivers are bringing, they are not going over there. And the other one is also volcanic ash and dust. I have not tasted it. I don't want to taste it. Maybe cosmogeneous, yes, they are there, but rare, no, very limited. सारे time तो ऐसा है नहीं कि space से ही सारा माल आ रहा है. True. So this is negligible. Can I say negligible? Volcano, I'm okay with it because I have not tasted that. I taste करके बताऊंगा next time. But Earth has its interior. All those interior things are coming out, so obviously they are bringing. Now comes biogenesis, exoskeleton of the marine organism. I'm sure exoskeleton, by exoskeleton you mean the bones. Yes or no? Our bones are made up of which salt? Is it sodium chloride? Again calcium. Again calcium. No, sir. The body of the organism. So how many of you eat fish? So do you add some salt to the fish or not? Salt, spice लगाते कि नहीं लगाते? या ऐसे खा जाता है? ऐसे भी खा सकते हैं. Will it be salty? No, fish doesn't have salt on its own. You have to add salt. So NaCl तो नहीं आ रहा है. Question is, NaCl is not coming. True. Now the scientists have to find the answer. Scientists have to find the answer in light of this information. So they said cosmogeneous, we do not have any idea. So let us pull it out. Rivers out. This out. This is the only thing left. That means, remember, degassing and density differentiation. Since the origin of the Earth, density differentiation has been happening. Lighter things are coming out. They are coming on the surface. Is everyone okay? Perfect. Okay. So they are saying that oceans got their salts from Earth itself, and it is in a steady state. Steady state means total amount over a long period is constant. Total amount over a long period stays constant. Is everyone with me on this? Over a long period, it stays constant. Done. Let us look at this further. When we are looking at this, the ocean is adding, the rivers are adding calcium, marine life, and chemical processes. Remember, oceans have dissolved carbon dioxide, are consuming calcium to form calcium carbonate. Can I say calcium is getting fixed? Calcium is removed. ये पता चल गया कहाँ गया calcium? Where has the calcium gone? Everyone clear? Calcium puzzle is solved. Rivers are constantly bringing calcium. The calcium should have increased in the oceans. Dissolved calcium is also not increasing. So biological and chemical processes are acting and getting rid of the calcium as calcium carbonate. Coral reefs are made up of this. इसी से बनते coral reefs. If you have been to the beach, you would have seen those, cories, shankh, CP. आपने देखे उधर? Yes, conches and all those things. किससे बनते हैं? Shells. What are they made up of? Calcium carbonate. Who is making it? Organisms are making it. So इतना सारा. They can. Yes, definitely they can. Is the calcium problem solved? Cosmogeneous salt. Now we're talking about volcano. So why volcanoes are giving only sodium? Volcano is not, this thing. Volcano will give everything. True or not? Yes. क्या देगा volcano? Calcium, sodium, magnesium, potassium, and other things also. Other things and lot other things. But I'm just talking about these salts. Is the calcium story solved? Even if the volcanoes give calcium, is the story solved? Calcium story, everyone is okay. There is someone who's consuming it. There is something which is fixing the calcium. So calcium ki to story solved. So oceans have less calcium because of this reason that whatever calcium we are adding, it is being somewhere consumed. Now we are looking at sodium, magnesium, potassium. Why sodium? Why sodium? So let us look at this. Please pay attention. This is water. This is water. Hear that? You started boiling it. You are boiling it. With time, what will happen to the water level? With time, what will happen to the water level? It will come down. Why? Where did the water go? So it evaporated, no? Evaporation, you lost water. Okay, everyone. This water had salts in it. Will you see salts deposited here on the side? ऐसा दिखता है नहीं दिखता है? Can you see this was the original level and it has come down? You can see a mark over there. Who has created a mark? The salt. Can I say salt got precipitated? True. Everyone, please pay attention. This is Mediterranean Sea and this is Pacific Ocean. My mistake. Atlantic Ocean. This is Mediterranean Sea. Both are salty. Both are salty. You know what? Mediterranean Sea totally dried up. Mediterranean Sea totally dried up. So what did it leave behind? Do we get that? It's a small sea. It's a small sea. It is separated from Atlantic Ocean by a barrier, submarine barrier. If it was connected to Atlantic Ocean, it would have never dried up. But the moment the level of Atlantic also fell below this, now you're not connected, can it dry up? So can I say this process is called precipitation? Precipitation. Is everyone okay with me on this? Now everyone, I have an interesting thing to tell you. X, Y, Z. There are three salts in water. There are three salts in water. When the water is getting evaporated, will all the three salts precipitate at the same time? Yes or no? And the reason? No, they will not precipitate at the same time. No is the right answer. Why? Why? Because they have different solubility. Is everyone okay? The one which has lower solubility will precipitate first. I want to tell you, calcium has the lowest. That is why when the tap water dries on your tap, even then you see calcium powder deposited over there. It really wants to come out. Do we get that? I want to tell you, sodium has the maximum solubility, especially NaCl. It will stay in water, dissolved. It will not show up. It will stay in water, dissolved until unless you totally evaporate everything. Do you get that? Is everything okay? So now tell me, this is land. Is that? This is land and these are oceans. Volcanoes are erupting, everything is happening, and this thing, water is flowing, and this thing, and where does the water reach? Water reaches the ocean. True or not? In the process, will salts precipitate out or not? Which salt will always prefer to stay dissolved? NaCl. Will it reach the lowest places on the planet dissolved in water and get progressively collected and will not precipitate? Even calcium salts came, even magnesium salts came, but because of evaporation and everything, coast पर क्या करेंगे वो उधर ही coast पर जाकर they will start precipitating और क्या बनाएंगे? Nodules, मोती, कंकड़, सब कुछ बनाएगा वो. बनाएगा या नहीं बनाएगा? I hope you are with me. Is everyone understanding what I am trying to hint at? So over the millennia, over thousands of years, sodium chloride has got collected. Initially, maybe it was less in amount. But can I say a very, very famous cycle? What is the name of this cycle? Would have recycled water and brought it again, hydrological cycle. पानी आया, evaporate हुआ, उधर गिरा. So wherever NaCl was there on the land, got dissolved. वापस चलो इधर. True or not? And can we say nowadays too much of volcanoes are not coming the way they were happening at the time of density differentiation at the formation of Earth? Can I say the amount of volcanism has reduced? If the amount of volcanism has reduced, can I say more and more salts are not coming? NaCl is not coming, and whatever is there over the millennia आकर बार-बार उसका mix करके वहां पर जाकर एक more or less fix हो गया है. Is everyone getting? Where did the salts come from? Salts came from multiple sources. You're absolutely correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I want to add हम भी. Yes or no? Humans also no. So what are we adding? Pollutants and everything. गांधी जी पहुंचे तो उसमें देशभक्ति पूरा आंदोलन हो गया, दांडी यात्रा. Salt ना होता तो देश आजाद नहीं होता. You have no respect for that or what? True. So I'm saying salt. Human beings are extracting salt. At places we are putting some chemicals. Chemical anion cation can react and precipitate into salt. Happening or not? Can humans also make a difference? But as of now, they're not making that difference that they will change the composition, and it is sodium chloride. But I want to tell you again, saying there are around 90 elements in the seawater. These are the dominant salts. Do we get that? 90 dissolved elements. Even gold is there in seawater. Do we get that? But it is in trace amounts. Trace amount means very, very limited amount. So the major components are these, and these are our principal salts. Did you get the story? True. Any questions on this? So broadly, we have oceans as a whole has a steady state, and salts have come from various sources. In fact, I would suggest कि आप सोच रहे होंगे थोड़ा सा पानी लेते हैं, add some salt to it, and try to drink salt water. Some of you do gargles when your throat is not well. India may this belief that to cure throat salt helps. Yes or no? So you would have tasted salt water. Yes or no? Your sambars, your rasams, your dals, everything have salt. You can know seawater only when you taste it. So next time you go to the oceans, take some water in your mouth. Don't swallow it. Shivam is saying very, very salty. I don't know, Shivam, what taste is that? It is very difficult to call it salty alone. अजीब सा taste होता है वो. True. So don't swallow it. Sir, how will I taste it? And then, अरे तुम पानी में डुबकी मारो मुंह खोल कर तो मुंह में चला जाएगा पानी, क्या दिक्कत है? Don't swallow it. True. Shivam is saying speed boating. अरे बीच पर जब नवा चौकड़ी में जा रहे हो, उछल कूद में जा रहे हो, उसी में कर लो. Do we get that? तो मुहूर्त थोड़ी निकालना उसके लिए. Are we clear, everyone? So if we are clear, let's move further. चलिए, salt भी हो गया. और क्या था हमारा next question? हाँ, ये तो मुझे क्वेश्चन आपसे पूछना चाहिए, जल्दी से बताइए। ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग, significance of salinity. What is the significance of salinity salts in the ocean? You have 1 minute, think about it. जल्दी से. Okay. So it affects movement of ocean currents. So yes, ocean dynamism. Ocean water dynamism, density variations. Density variation. Because of density variations, we have vertical currents. We have vertical currents. Okay. Now, biodiversity is another very important point. Biodiversity is another. So life is well adapted to it. Life is adapted to saline conditions. If this changes, things will become difficult. So we have heard of salt water. We have heard of fresh water. True. And there is an intermediate water which happens at the mouth of a river where mixing is happening. And what is that called as? Brackish water. So different species, different plants and animals, they have adapted very well to this. So that is there. So can I say the bio part of it and the physical part of it? Physics of the ocean, physics of the ocean, biology of the ocean, and can I also say chemistry of the ocean? Chemistry of the ocean. So what is chemistry? Well, क्या बोलते थे उसको? School में, if you were a science student, you would have heard that salt can help in depression of freezing point and elevation of boiling point. Heard of that? Elevation of boiling point means water will not boil at 100 degrees Celsius. Yes, you will have to give it more heat to cause it to boil. And depression of freezing point, water will not freeze at 0 degrees Celsius. You will have to cool it further to get that freezing point. Elevation of boiling point means you are giving me more. Saline water can hold more heat. Saline water can hold more heat. आपने देखा होगा इसका इंडस्ट्रियल यूज. Saline water is called brine. Heard of brine? Concentrated sodium chloride water is called brine. Do we get that? So इनको कहा जाता है heat ponds, salt ponds. So excess hot water from the boilers is put in those brine solution and all those things. So what is happening is oceans are a heat sink also. Oceans are a heat sink. That is what chemistry is working on that. Do we get that? So heat retention. I also want to add some more physics to this. Conductivity of the salt is increased. Conductivity of current is increased. Conductivity increased. What is conductive? Remember, if you step on the wood and touch electric point, you will not get the jhatka. True, you will not get the jhatka because wood is a poor conductor. Metals are good conductors. Now, when you have salt solution, because of the electrolysis involved, becomes a better conductor. So the conductivity of the salt is better, of the seawater is better. Yes, we are looking at heat retention is changed because of this. Biology is impacted by this. Ocean currents are also impacted by this. Is everyone okay? Everyone clear? True. So I hope everyone, I hope everyone, if a question comes, discuss the salinity variations across the world and their significance. So make sure you do not miss on that part also. Everyone clear on that? So we are going point by point and we are looking at what is in salinity and then we will combine saline and temperature also. कहाँ है हमारा question tree? How is it? Where is it? Why variable? So why does it vary? Why vary? And then we'll try to capture some spatial variations. We'll try to capture some spatial variations. So could you please repeat the point on brine? Brine has got nothing to do with this. Brine is just concentrated sodium chloride water. It is used for industrial uses in industrial area. We have brine ponds. So where hot water, hot effluents are put into that, they will absorb that much heat and cooling will happen. So industrial use के लिए मैंने वो कहा, oceans के लिए ऐसा कुछ नहीं. Oceans में that was not the point, but I just told you if the word brine comes, that is also there. Since you talked about this, I can give you something about brine. Brine बताना चाहता हूँ आपको. Everyone, I have tropical water. I have tropical water. Like Gulf Stream. Is everyone okay with Gulf Stream? Gulf Stream travels all the way and reaches Greenland. True. Do we get that? Can I say it was carrying which water? Warm, saline water. Tropical water. Gulf Stream went to Greenland. Is everyone okay? Can I also give you another example? Brazilian current reached Antarctic. True. Everyone okay? Now there is ice. There is ice. Greenland के पास glaciers are there, they have ice. Antarctica, glaciers are there, they have ice. Everyone okay? What happens? My warm saline water reaches over there. My warm saline water reaches in this area. True. Is everyone okay? The warm saline water starts cooling. It starts cooling. Everyone okay? It starts cooling, and to that extent, the water freezes. What will happen to the glacier? The size of the glacier. What will happen to the size of the glacier? It will increase. Very good. True. So, but we are though hearing melting of glacier. If the temperature is high, overall the net balance nowadays is we are in this period of warming. So that is why we see that glaciers are melting. I am with you on this. But I just want to tell you that if it was ice age, will the glaciers expand or not? जल्दी से बताओ, होगा या नहीं होगा? होना तो चाहिए. Perfect. But the problem is that what freezes is only water, not salt. This is fresh water. Glacier is fresh water. Glaciers are what? Fresh water. So what happened to the salt? Salt was left. So near Antarctica, near Greenland, the water becomes saltier. Salinity is higher. Do you understand why? Is everyone okay? Salinity becomes higher. Because the water went into getting frozen, and what is there? The salts were left behind. This leaving behind of salt is called brine rejection. This water around the glacier and around Antarctica will be lighter or denser? Will be lighter or denser? It will be denser, heavier. So what is going to happen over here? Downwelling or upwelling? We have already looked at upwelling areas in my class. I've already explained. So do you know that polar areas in the world are the downwelling areas? And do you know the reason also for them? Offshore winds are creating upwelling. We saw tropical, subtropical, western margin, or special cases upwelling. Do you have a concept for downwelling also? Where is it happening? Another place where downwelling is happening is even at equator. Remember at equator what is happening? If this is a continent, the water is getting piled up over here or not? More water because of piling. यहाँ भी downwelling होती है. Everyone trying to recollect from the previous basic classes. I hope you are clear about currents and the idea of upwelling and downwelling. True. बीच में क्लास में किसी ने कोई क्वेश्चन पूछा टेलीग्राम में. There was a question going on in Telegram. People were confused, upwelling, downwelling, and you know the trade wind, and people were giving fancy answers. कुछ भी दे रहे थे. Lack of concept. Do we get that? So if there is a piling up of something, will the weight increase or not? If you have doubt, next time if you have a very heavy garbage bag full of garbage, know the meaning of piling up, because you know garbage bag can tear apart anytime. Can it burst or not? Sometimes you're carrying a very heavy garbage bag to the garbage bin, which will develop, and you feel like, oh my god, what if this breaks? Why? Because of the weight. So similarly, a lot of water getting piled up, huge weight over there, it will have a tendency to sink. Whereas from the eastern margin where the water is being pushed away, उधर क्या हो रहा है? Upwelling. So upwelling, downwelling, do we have the zones clear to all of us? Upwelling zones, downwelling zones have explained. And can you see the polar special one? And since the word brine came, do you understand what is brine rejection? When water freezes. Seawater freezes, salts do not freeze. Salts precipitate out. When water evaporates, salts do not evaporate. Salts precipitate out. Freezing of seawater or evaporation of seawater involves only fresh water. Do we get that? Salt will, both cases will be rejected. Is everyone okay? I have an exercise for all of you. Why salinity varies? I want you to take a fresh sheet, turn it around. Why salinity varies? Turn it around and write at least 15 ideas that come to your mind. randomly, whatever is coming, no order needed. 15 ideas why salinity in the oceans is changing. Quickly. Okay, so you can contribute now. Please tell me what has come to your mind. Okay, distribution of volcano, please. Evaporation. फिर भी मैं लिख देता हूँ volcano. कोई रोक तो रहा नहीं. Precipitation. Correct. Rivers. Glacier. Hydrothermal vent. Upwelling. Downwelling. पूर्वी सिंपल वाला सोच लो. वाटर लेवल सर कुछ भी मतलब जिसको ना कुछ लोगों को सेंसेशन ही करना होता है. सिंपल तो दिखता ही नहीं. उनको लगता है सेंसेशन is a mark of intelligence. Well, it can be a mark of freak also. So don't give just those freak ideas. Global warming. Humans anthropogenic. What else? Quickly. Get now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have a request, everyone. If you did not get 15, no problem. Please keep writing. Wherever your points are missing, if there are new on this, that can be there. Marine life. Latitude. Ocean depth. Wind direction. Anything else quickly? Temperature has been done. Melting, freezing. Okay, melting, freezing. Okay. What else? Close water, more salinity like Mediterranean. I don't know. उसका point दो ना factors. No, give me example. अगर आपके पास इतना भी expression नहीं अपने ideas को, तो मैं क्या कह सकता हूँ? What is the point? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Do we have everyone? Now this is called brainstorming. This should be done before you think of writing an answer. Continent around the water. बिल्कुल यार मतलब simple audience से बात हो रही है क्या यार? Proximity to land. वही वाली बात है ना. किसी ने कोई किताब नहीं पढ़ी होती. कभी no reading of a book at all. No reading of a book at all. Trying to create a language. It's like someone who doesn't know German trying to create a sentence in German. Proximity to land. Land का quantity जो भी. Perfect. Suggestion. I have a suggestion. How I would look into this. See, more or less, the salts of the oceans are constant or not. Long term, salts of the ocean is in a steady state. Get that? But there is something that changes because of a cycle. True or not? Salinity is a function of two things: solvent and solute. You know what is the solvent? Solvent is the liquid. Solute is what? The salt. What is the solvent? Water. Now, which one is changing? In the long term. Not in the short and regional one. In the long term. Salt is changing in the long term. बड़ी देर पहले लिखवाया था Anirban that salt is fixed in long term. We are in a steady state. Ocean salt is neither increasing or this thing. So then what is changing? The water is changing because water keeps on moving away from the ocean, going into this, and it keeps on coming. True or not? So I see the factors behind the variation of salinity to be of three kinds: plus, minus, multiplication. What do I mean by plus, minus, multiplication? You add water. Certain things are adding water. When they add water, what happens? Salinity goes down. Can you see precipitation is that? What will I put over here? Plus. Second is removal of water. Who will take away water? Minus. Third is mixing of water. Who's doing that? Upwelling, downwelling. Do you get that? Factors responsible for variation of salinity belong to three simple categories: addition of water, removal of water, and mixing. The salts in the ocean are constant. Is everyone okay? Will there be spatial location? हो सकता है कहीं पर salt अलग से डल गया. Is a different story. But ऐसा कोई नहीं है जो बहुत सारे oceans में जाके salt डालता है. Everyone. Now what is your exercise? Now what is your exercise? Can you put these three symbols on the list? If you made, I had requested you to make the list. बहुत से लोग, many of you just listen and don't make the list. So if you follow my instructions, please put plus, minus, and cross. Everyone, quickly, plus, minus, and cross. Your list only, your homework, your notes. Is the factors clear to all? Can I say temperature? Temperature will decide either plus or minus. Glaciers, when they melt, what do? They add water. Volcanoes, what they can do? Mix water. Global warming is causing what? Promoting evaporation. Promoting evaporation. So what is happening? Mostly taking away water. Yes. Wind direction or wind velocity. What is wind causing? Wind is causing evaporation or not, everyone? Is wind causing evaporation? True. Wind is causing evaporation. Everyone with me on this? Yes, sir. It is causing evaporation. So minus. Hydrothermal vent, mixing. पानी है, पानी को mix किया, वहाँ की salinity and overall, salt will redistribute. That's that. Freezing, what will miss? Marine life क्या कर रही है? Marine life is also mixing. No, sir, they are adding salt. Whatever salt is there, वो तो हमने constant कर लिया ना. Then तो marine life is also consuming salt. Remember, calcium salt they are consuming also. So they are cancelling out each other. True or not? Can I say ocean depth depends on temperature? So if the temperature is increasing, then something. If the temperature is decreasing, then something. So for that, we need one more understanding. What is that? The vertical variation of salinity that we will do. What are rivers doing? What are rivers doing? Plus or minus? Quickly. What are they doing? Plus or minus? Rivers. They are plus or minus. कितने लोग minus डाल रहे हो? Why minus? What is minus in river? I did not understand. Rivers are adding water, right? And we simply said addition of water, removal of water. Rivers add water. Come on. Proximity of land, landlocked countries. Landlocked countries can have too much of evaporation. True or not? Landlocked countries can have too much of evaporation in the tropical areas. But in the polar areas, will they reduce evaporation? Think about it. We have polar areas also. Lake Ladoga, Lake Onega, where Russia. Their evaporation is reduced because the land is very cold over there. But if I'm talking about Red Sea, because of the land, it is increasing. Can I say proximity of land will decide the amount of evaporation? And in turn, what will it do? It will decide the salinity of especially what? Enclosed or partially enclosed water bodies. समझ में आया? Now these are technical languages. Enclosed water bodies or partially enclosed water bodies. Their salinity will be impacted by their proximity to land. समझ में आ गया? Is everyone okay? Human beings क्या करते हैं? पानी को डाल रहे हैं, निकाल रहे हैं, पता नहीं, कभी डाल देते हैं, कभी निकाल देते हैं, और ये मिक्स भी कर देते हैं. Or human activities are indirectly causing problem or not to the salinity. Everyone, did we get this? Do you have sufficient content to write? Get that? Exam में question क्या था? UPSC question. UPSC question. So please explain global warming negative. Global warming negative. अरे इसमें addition भी कर रहा है और removal भी कर रहा है, दोनों है. Global warming is causing evaporation or not? जिनको ये नहीं समझ में आया global warming negative कैसे हो गया? Because of global warming, what is happening to the temperature? Temperature is increasing. So what is happening? Evaporation is happening. तो एक तो अभी तो बहुत लोगों को तो पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव ही समझ में नहीं आया, because they are thinking adding salt is positive, removing salt is negative, whereas I never said that. I said salt is constant. What is being added, what is being removed, that is all we are talking about. Get that? But because of global warming, erratic rainfall is happening. So at some places, because of erratic rainfall, what will happen? Plus will also come. Global warming or climate change has led to a twin problem of droughts as well as floods. Do we get that? But when I was explaining, I simply said global warming means temperature has increased, so more evaporation is happening. Do we get the idea? Simple idea, बहुत ज़्यादा complex नहीं करना. UPSC में question क्या आता है? UPSC में ये नहीं पूछेगा salt कहाँ से आया, किसने डाला और ये वो. So, can you answer this? अब आंसर कर सकते नहीं कर सकते, दैट्स अ $1 million क्वेश्चन, दैट्स अ वेरी वेरी बिग क्वेश्चन, बट कैन यू सी दैट यू हैव फैक्टर्स इन योर माइंड? फैक्टर्स तो हैं आपके पास, आंसर तो कुछ और ही होता है. विद मी ऑन दिस? Examine the factors responsible for salinity variations across oceans. Done. चलिए. Is question 1 and question 2 the same? Discuss special और present a special examination. Discuss हटाओ क्योंकि examination आ सकता है, आ चुका है. Present a special examination of salinity across oceans. Are they same or different? What is the difference? What is the difference? Quickly, let me see. Are you even able to see the difference? नहीं तो ready-made answer तो कुछ भी छाप के आओगे. What is the difference? Quickly. Second one needs more examples. So Sneha ने जो भी इसको assess किया है, this is the wrong in understanding of the question. In the first one, ocean is seen as a whole. सही the wrong interpretation. मधुकर एक में mapping आएगा. Wrong interpretation. It's so sad. People are not even able to understand the question, and you want to write answers. मधुकर रहने दो. तो पहले में the scope of the question is this. Question is factors, and this one is salinity. Two different things. Spatial salinity. One is on factors. इस पे तो नहीं लिखा factors. This is a distribution based question. Show me the distribution. What, where, how is it happening? And tell me the factors. More focus in why and how salinity varies. Can't we see the two questions are different? ये होता है रटे रटाए क्वेश्चन में, जाके कुछ भी लिखेंगे. Can't you see the questions are very very different? One is saying examine the factors responsible, ये है, so you'll be working on these factors. Examine the salinity variations, वो भी करवाना है मुझे, वो तो मैंने करवाया नहीं. I have not even done that. What answers? Give a account of salinity variations across oceans. This is a combo question. 1 plus 2. तो question तो समझें. 3 questions are different ones. I haven't even talked about the second question. Salinity variation तो आया नहीं अभी. So when we don't understand the question, the 3 questions are different questions. But what will happen is we have a ready-made answer, ready-made PDF. वही लिख कर आएंगे. लिखेंगे तो वही जो हमको आता है. Can you see there are 3 different questions? First is just talking about the factors. Give me the reasons why it is happening, why and how is the focus. Second one, where is the focus? Where? थोड़ा examine करके कैसे हो रहा है वो बता दीजिए. Third one, how and why and where both are the focus. Did we get the difference between questions or not? So just attending the class will not give us good answer writing. First of all, we need to understand the question. और तीनों question का जो structuring होगा, the context and everything will be different. Everyone, do we see the difference between 3 questions or not? समझ में आया या नहीं आया? पहले तो समझ में आना चाहिए. Before we jump on to any answer writing, do we get the difference between the 3 questions? The demand of the questions is different, the scope of the questions is different, and I would say as a paper setter, I would give marks also, one for 10 marker, other for 15 marker, maybe third one for 20 marker. Okay with this? अब हम किस पर आ गए? देख लें, फैक्टर्स पता चल गए सबको. Are the factors known? Are the factors known or not? So the factors are also known. Now we are looking at the spatial variation. So पहला तो मैं सिंपल लिखूंगा global level. इस आंसर को अगर मुझे बताना हो, I'll say global level. And in global level, I can go hemispherical. I can even go latitudinal. ठीक है? And then I'll go regional level. I can go ocean wise, I can go ocean and seas with special cases. The answer geographical banega या नहीं बनेगा? Before even thinking. So there are people who just want to write an answer. They would not even understand the question. They would not even understand what should be the scoping of an answer. Scoping of an answer is how you are going to think. Do you get that? If you ask me, globally speaking, as I go from equator towards subtropical high pressure belt. Subtropical high pressure belt is a belt of clear sky, sinking air. How is the temperature over there? Deserts are also there. Clear sky, sinking air. Remember, sinking air causes heating. So what will happen over there? Quickly. So what happens to the salinity as we move from equator to the 30 degrees? जल्दी से बताओ, कुछ समझ आ रहा है तो? Salinity should increase. Surface salinity. In fact, the surface salinity at equator is low. Why is it relatively low? Too much of rainfall. Remember, rainfall. Too much of fresh water supply. Factors working over there. Here, what is happening? Too much of rainfall. Here, it is happening evaporation. Simple. Why am I doing this? Why am I making this diagram? And why am I speaking to you like this? Because my question is, give a reasoned account. So what I'm showing you in a diagram, if you are after the class, you want to write a para on this, can you say as one moves away from the equator towards the subtropic, the salinity increases. This is on account of maximum heat at the subtropic, not at the equator. Why? Because at equator, cloud cover is going to cut on the heat. Yes, and rainfall is going to cause surface dilution. True. After this, can I say it will decrease? Is everyone okay? So यहीं पर मैंने फिगर में लिख दिया, यहाँ क्लाउड कवर भी है, प्रेसिपिटेशन भी है. क्लाउड कवर पैक्स इंसुलेशन. Here what is it? Clear sky. People ask me, sir, how can I make my answer geographical? You can make your answer geographical by putting this diagram along with your write-up. Put your write-up, put this diagram. Does it make sense? Beyond 30 degrees, what happens? Temperature decreases. Temperature decreases, so evaporation decreases. What will happen to the salinity? No, evaporation is not happening. Loss of water is not happening. So what will happen? Salinity will start decreasing. Is everyone okay? True. So much so at the polar ice, what will happen? Polar ice तो आपने देखा मीठा पानी. Hemispherical, ये तो latitudinal हो गया. Can I say latitudinal? Hemisphерically, it has been seen that southern hemisphere is slightly more saline than the northern hemisphere. Southern hemisphere is slightly more saline than the northern hemisphere. Why so? Can you think of it? अगर आप मुझसे पूछेंगे तो southern hemisphere is, northern hemisphere is 34.5. Are we clear? Southern hemisphere, northern hemisphere. अब देखना ये रीजन अकाउंट है. Why? तो जल्दी से बताओ मुझे. More freezing, brine rejection. Pragati is saying. So polar area में she is saying polar area. So polar area में हो रहा है प्रगति. What else? Very simple. Northern hemisphere, a lot of freezing happens on the land. First of all, northern hemisphere is the land hemisphere. Whatever freezing and this thing is happening, all that hydrological cycle, all that water comes on the land, mostly as fresh water, and that fresh water goes and meets the sea as river mouths. In the southern hemisphere, we have less river mouths. True or not? If you're talking of continents, we have only the South America part, little bit of Africa, and Australia. Australia is almost a desert continent. No rivers over there. Africa में भी ज़्यादा rivers नहीं flow कर रहे. Yes, South America is the one which is having. But then compared to northern hemisphere, can I say the influx of water from the rivers is less? Addition of water is less. Addition of fresh water is relatively less. Second thing is, you're having food. Everyone, you're having food, and food is very hot. तो कुछ मिला घर में, उपमा, पोहा, खिचड़ी you had, and it's very hot, or halwa. What do you do in the plate? Do you spread it out or not? Why do you spread it? So that it can cool faster. True or not? which ocean is a bigger ocean? Which ocean is a bigger ocean? More ocean. तो देखो मेगा स्पेसिफिक है, हेमिस्फेरिकली बात हो गई. Southern hemisphere is a bigger basin or not? Southern hemisphere is a bigger basin. So more evaporation will happen or not? More evaporation. Okay, winds cause more evaporation. Where we have continuous, unbroken, undisturbed winds, northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere. Southern hemisphere westerlies are more constant throughout the year. Yes or no? Here, a lot of obstructions happening, so many things happening. Do we understand? But sir, land heats up fast, so land should cause more evaporation. Well, in case of landlocked water bodies, they will have abnormal. That is true. But when we are talking of hemisphere as a whole, that will not apply. But local anomalies will come because of that. Is everyone okay with southern hemisphere, latitudinal, and the reasons for that? True. Ocean wise भी अगर आप देखना चाहते हो तो I think the temperature of Pacific Ocean, अभी temperature में करते हैं. Let us not get confused with this. Let us do with temperature. Is everyone okay? Now we are looking at oceans and seas. Oceans and seas. So इसमें क्या आ गया हमारे? Partially enclosed water bodies and seas. Is everyone okay? So I've already told you about the Lake Van, Dead Sea, and all those things. That is there. India में कोई example तो high salinity. India में example high salinity. The desert lakes, well, absolutely. Sambar Lake, Digana Lake, Didwana Lake. So in that region, Rajasthan में Sambar, Digana, Didwana. Heard of these lakes? Purvi Singh, Kuchaman Lake. और इनके आसपास salt extraction होता है. Yes, and even calcium-based salt will also be there. Remember, first which salt comes out? Calcium, gypsum. Rajasthan is having the maximum deposits of gypsum in the country. Do you understand what is gypsum? Gypsum is magnesium sulfate. Magnesium salt coming out. Is everyone okay? So salts, magnesium salt, calcium salt, they will be coming out. What is marble? Marble is made up of calcium only, metamorphosed form. Metamorphosed form is there. So please understand that we are looking at those enclosed bodies now. Enclosed bodies now. So can you tell me something about what are the, quickly list बनाएंगे, marginal seas around Indian Ocean? Around Indian Ocean. जल्दी से. Indian Ocean लेते हैं example and you will get my idea. Quickly, Indian Ocean. Marginal seas around Indian Ocean. So can I say Red Sea is a marginal sea? Indian Ocean बना दूं मैं? So interesting. Let me make something for all of you, which will help us understand a very good rule, which you can write in your answer and answer this question of spatial variation. Everyone okay? Red Sea, Persian Gulf. Red Sea and Persian Gulf. Equator. Southern Indian Ocean and Northern Indian Ocean. Which one will have more salinity? Southern Indian Ocean and Northern Indian Ocean. Which will have more salinity? Whichever is hot, whichever is warmer. किसके पास salinity ज़्यादा होगी भाई? आप सोचिए तो सही. Southern Indian Ocean खुला sea है भाई. Yes or no? And Northern Indian Ocean is not open, blocked in north. If you can't even see that, here salinity of Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal should be higher than this. But we have the Ganga Delta coming in. इधर बहुत सारे rivers का delta है. So if I compare with Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal, which one will have more? Arabian Sea will have more. Logic पे चलो. Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea and Red Sea. Which one will have more? Red Sea. Simple logic. Same ideas, same ideas, same ideas. Northern Indian Ocean is blocked in the north, surrounded on all sides by rigid rock blocks, and that is why it is going to be very warm. Relatively warmer, more evaporation. And is it not a fact that Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea have started generating a lot of cyclones over here? ये भी fact है. कोई हम logic उसमें try नहीं करें, connect नहीं करें तो problem है. उसके बाद when we are looking at this thing, so if I have to compare between Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal, what will I do? I'll have to compare with the rivers also. So river भी एक factor हो जाता है. This is 30 degrees, so they are all tropical. This is 30 degrees. So where am I? I am in the tropical latitudes, tropical and subtropical latitudes. Yes. Can I say enclosed and marginal seas have relatively high salinity in the tropical and subtropical belt. Why? Because land heats faster and it will cause more evaporation. More evaporation means loss of water and all the things which are happening. So that is what I want everyone to see and understand. If you are with me, kindly confirm. Are we done? Let me go to 30 and 60. Atlantic Ocean, North Sea, Baltic Sea. Okay. This time Atlantic Ocean, North Sea and Baltic Sea. Out of Atlantic and North Sea, which one will have higher salinity? Which one will have higher salinity? Atlantic Ocean will have higher salinity. Why? Because either river Rhine falls, yes or no? And because of the land, this is relatively cooler. Fresh water is also coming, less evaporation is also happening. So where will be the more salinity? Atlantic Ocean will have more salinity. And which one of these will have the least salinity? Baltic Sea has the least salinity. Because here the factor is not of heating, here the factor is of cooling. So can I say in these latitude enclosed and marginal seas have relatively low salinity compared to the open ones. Has the thing reversed? Has the thing reversed? Spatial variation, can you show through examples also? Yes. If you have to give examples of high salinity areas in the world, can you give the example of Persian Gulf, Red Sea? Will Mediterranean Sea also have high salinity? Yes or no? Black Sea को कहाँ डालें? Black Sea will have high salinity or not? Black Sea. ऐसे तो कैस्पियन सी भी, कैस्पियन सी सर, हाँ वो तो एनक्लोज भी होगा, एनक्लोज की तो बात ही नहीं कर रहे, उसमें तो सॉल्ट होगा ही होगा. ब्लैक सी हाई सैलिनिटी और लो. एवरीवन, ब्लैक सी इज एन एक्सेप्शन. ब्लैक सी इज एन एक्सेप्शन. क्या बात कर रहे हो सर? It is the high evaporation zone. But remember the longest river of Europe, Danube falls here, Dnieper falls here, Dniester falls here, yes or no? Don falls here. तो बहुत नदियां आ रही हैं. Do we get that? So rivers can make a huge difference for such a thing. Everyone, if a question comes on give a reasoned account of salinity variation across the oceans, can you give that? Do you have examples? Do you have maps? Do you have diagram? Can you make the answer geographical? If you are going to write an essay on, so by वो क्लास में डिक्टेशन में होता है. Do you have a structure for you? Globally बात कर सकते हैं, latitudinally, hemispherically. Can you talk about regionally also? Do you have all the things coming to you? Are we clear? Now, if you're thinking like this, you're thinking good. If you're thinking like this, अगर आप ऐसे सोच पाते हैं तो बहुत अच्छा सोच रहे हैं. You're going very well. With me on this? Let's go to the next one. Temperature. Ocean temperature. Similar to salinity. Similar to salinity. So can I say temperature? Temperature is variable, just like atmosphere, just like atmospheric temperature, just like atmospheric temperature. Average temperature 17.1 degrees Celsius. Average. Get that? And when I say this is up to a depth of 200 meters, so this is generally the top layer की जिसकी बात की जाती है. Whenever we're talking about the top layers. Is everyone with me on this? We are talking about the top layers. Okay. What is the source of heat? What is the source of heat? Again, insolation. Primary source. Insolation. Do you get that? Primary source is insolation. So as we go deep, what will happen to the temperature? Will it reduce or not? It is going to reduce. It is going to reduce. Why? Because insolation cannot penetrate deep. So can I say I have very clear things coming for in my mind for variations in horizontal as well as vertical variations in temperature. If I give you a question or an exercise to brainstorm on factors responsible for oceanic temperature variations. Brainstorm quickly. on a sheet of paper and then we will compare. Okay, so what are the factors? What have come to your mind quickly? The factors that may have come to your mind. Dissolved salts, upwelling, climate, latitude, proximity to land. Okay, latitude, relief, continentality, ocean. Latitude, continentality, ocean current तो ठीक है, relief कैसे है? Ocean का भी relief है. Number one is intensity and duration of insolation. Is this okay? Intensity and duration of insolation. So this depends on latitude. ये भी latitude पर है. Season. Can I say that? True. Depend करेगा. So it will change. Number two. Loss of energy to atmosphere. Loss of energy to atmosphere. Or don't make it to atmosphere, in atmosphere. So atmosphere is bringing in, yes or no? But can I say reflection, albedo, yes, scattering of light? Will it make a difference? Amount of heat received, different albedo at different places. Remember, polar areas, ice caps will have higher albedo. Do we have that? And we are saying that global warming is removing them. Global warming is removing caps turning into water, and when ice turns into water, it will be absorbing more. Will the heat absorption change or not? Third factor. Heat transfer through process of evaporation and condensation varies place to place. Varies place to place. Is everyone okay? Heat transfer. Evaporation, condensation varies place to place. Sir, evaporation, I understand. Heat transfer, condensation. Remember, when water condenses, it releases the latent heat of condensation, which drives the cyclone. So, heat transfer. Fourth point is air mass movement. Remember, air masses moving over the oceans can alter their own property and other properties also. True. था कि नहीं? बड़ी चीज था. मिस नहीं करना था ये. Fifth one. Remember ocean salinity. Ocean salinity. Remember, saline water holds more in that. Ocean salinity. Do we get that? Can I say local factors? If a question comes on factors, do you have sufficient content to discuss and elaborate? Sir, salinity में ये नहीं लिखवाया था sir. अरे, उधर I did a different exercise, no? Uddhar I said three things plus, minus, into. I'm not supposed to teach you the way you want to. I'm supposed to teach you the way which will help you understand different ways of learning. True or not? वो भी वहां से यूज करना है, कहां से भी यूज करो. And if you want to write points, लिख लो points. मना तो नहीं कर रहा है. There where you written random points, you can work on this. Everyone clear on this? Because of these factors, horizontal variations in oceanic temperature due to factors listed. Factors जो हमने लिस्ट किए. What is the horizontal variation in oceanic temperature? देखिए क्या है? What is the horizontal? So पहले तो मुझे लगता है warmest temperature is not at equator. Why? Cloud cover, rainfall. Will it lead to some cooling effect? Though temperature decreases equatorial region to polar region. True? Are you with me on this? So equator per se, that belt may have a patch of relatively cool water, but heat तो equator के पास ही ज्यादा होगी कि नहीं होगी? Table बनाएंगे. Everyone, we have to memorize the table. latitude, temperature. Equatorial 20 degrees, 40 degrees, 60 degrees. Equatorial belt, if I look at the temperature is around 26 degrees Celsius. कई बार हमने देखा मैप 26 degrees Celsius. Around 20. What will happen to the temperature? Increase or decrease? Temperature, because the heat is decreasing. 22 degrees Celsius. 40 degrees, 14 degrees Celsius. And this is 1 degree Celsius. Will you remember this, everyone? Memorize. Equator के आसपास, but say equator is not the hottest. Equator will have a layer of rainfall, but in that belt, equatorial belt we are looking at, will have higher heat, and as we go away, the heat will reduce. Heat will reduce. Do we get that? On the oceans. On the oceans. Chali, if I raised it, what is this? Interlatitudinal variation. Ocean में देख ले. Pacific Ocean average temperature, Indian Ocean average temperature, Atlantic Ocean average temperature around 17.3 है इसका around 6.9. So Manish, I have already said that equatorial region, that belt will have only that part of water will be a cool patch, relatively cool patch. So when I say relatively cool patch, तो कितना होगा? 24 होगा, 25, 24. So this is equator. See that? What is the water over equator? Around equator, 26 degrees Celsius. What can be exactly at equator because of the cloud? 25, 24. चलेगा? But as I am going away from the equator, what is happening to my temperature? I reach 20 degrees. What is my temperature? 22. ठीक है? ऐसे बनता है. So did you get this? So as I am going equator ले लेते हैं. This region has 26 with a cool belt over here, relatively less. As I am going further, then what comes 14, then what comes 1, और आगे जाएंगे तो 0 हो जाएगा. ठीक है? समझ में आ गया? 20 डिग्री नॉर्थ, 40 डिग्री नॉर्थ, 60 डिग्री नॉर्थ. ट्रू. उसके आगे जाने पर क्या हो जाना चाहिए? ओशन का टेम्परेचर वुड बी negative. How much negative? Minus how much? If we go beyond that, say I reach 80 degrees north latitude, what is the expected ocean surface temperature? Quickly, minus how much? Negative how much? Give a value. Minus 40, minus 60. Get that? So everyone, the temperature can go to 0. Ice will freeze. That's all. And in fact, ice is a poor conductor of heat. Now this ice layer is going to protect the water from cooling further. Do you get that? Protect the water from cooling further. ऊपर का temperature, atmospheric temperature is minus 40 because winds are colder, no? Atmospheric temperature is minus 40. Ocean has got frozen. Frozen means 0 degree, and the water beneath it is not freezing. Why? Because of now the ice protecting it. Ice is an insulator. And one more interesting thing. Water does not freeze at 0 only. Salt water से क्या हो जाता है? Depression of freezing point. Now the water will freeze at a temperature much below 0. So 0 पे surface has frozen. But the remaining column, because it is salty water, I need to cool it further. And cooling is not happening. Why? Because now I'm acting as an insulator. You understand? Salinity protects the ocean from freezing as a whole. वो जो आप ice age में देखते हो ना, ice age के कार्टून में जो आता है, आपको वो जो है squirrel या जो भी है वो फंस जाता है ice में. ऐसा नहीं होने वाला. Is everyone okay? Fourth. So then can we say by insolation wise, budget wise, equatorial region has high heat or not? Planet की जो heat होती है, heat budget जो किया था, atmosphere की heat सबसे ज्यादा equator पर ही होती है कि नहीं? वो अलग बात है. बीच में insolation को काट दिया आपने. When we were doing heat budget, NCERT में heat budget दिया, atmosphere का heat budget ऐसा दिया ना ग्राफ. Insolation curve. और फिर हमने बनाया था कौन सा? Terrestrial radiation curve. ऐसा बताया था. Heat excess and heat deficit बताया था. So which region has the maximum insolation? Equator. वो लोग बात है who's cutting it? Who is cutting it? That's a different story. We were looking at that. So इसलिए हम बोल रहे थे net heat जो आ रहा था, यहाँ तक heat positive आ रहा था. This was heat excess. This was deficit. Around 36 degrees ऐसे कुछ था. करवाया था अगर आपको याद हो तो. Did we do that or not? So equator gets the maximum heat. Equator is getting the maximum heat, but when the heat is coming down because of rainfall and cloud cover, that equatorial belt, उससे वहीं का जो बेल्ट है छोटा मोटा वहां पर थोड़ा होगा, बट उस जोन में तो ज्यादा ही होगी. जोन विल हैव 26, देन रिड्यूस होता जाएगा. ये तो कहीं पर भी पढ़ोगे, एनसीईआरटी में भी दिया हुआ है कि नहीं, आपको बताया था एनसीईआरटी क्लास 11th में भी हीट है, हीट फ्लक्स. डू वी गेट दैट? इज एवरीवन ओके? लैंड वाटर differential has caused anomalies. True or not? So what will happen? Will the isotherm bend or not? Isotherms will bend or not? ये हमने क्लाइमेट में भी किया था. पूर्वी को सिर्फ फैक्ट दिखाई देता है सर, आईओ का, इंडियन ओशन का सर वो टेम्परेचर होता है दोनों के बीच में यार. कुछ भी ले लो, एवरेज ही ले लो, 17.1 ले लो. तो कुछ लोगों को कॉन्सेप्ट से कोई मतलब नहीं होता है. फैक्ट पूरे भरे होने चाहिए. आज तो पूरा मौसम है, आज तो मेरा पैसा वसूल हो रहा है सर ने, पूरा टेबल बना के दिया, हर बार बनाता हूँ. If land and water can bend the isotherms, who else can bend the isotherms? जल्दी से बताओ, who else can bend the isotherms in oceans? वो भी एक फैक्टर हो जाएगा और वो भी एक ट्रेंड हो जाएगा. Ocean currents bend. Ocean currents bend isotherms. So वो जो कोई अभी थोड़ी देर पहले somebody suggested relief or height and something, I don't know what was the word. Instead of that, ocean currents are going to make a difference. Is everyone okay with this? So ये क्या हो गया? Global macro trends. These are the global trends of. अगर जैसे सैलिनिटी में किया था ना, सैलिनिटी में what was the structure? First talk global, then go regional. Have I talked global for temperature? Have I talked global for temperature? Is everyone comfortable? चलिए एक स्लाइड भी दिखाते हैं. स्लाइड तो आज कोई आई नहीं. No slide, only writing happening. And in slide also then you start saying, अरे पूरा पढ़ना है क्या सर slide? That's also a big problem. Okay, so uploading the slide now. Sea surface temperature. Ocean is a 3D body, has distributional of physical properties like salinity, temperature, density. Is represented by equiscalar surfaces. सर equiscalar क्या होता है? Isohaline, isothermal, isopicnic. Salinity की लाइन को क्या बोलते हैं? Same salinity is isohaline. Same temperature, isotherm, and same density, that is that. Average temperature of the seas. Average temperatures of the sea is higher in northern hemisphere than in southern hemisphere. Did we get that? Higher temperature. Why? More land, and this is due to more inefficient circulation in water and transport of heat. Can I say the heat is getting trapped over here? So hemispherical with you. ये जो ओशन का पूर्वी बहुत दुखी में चल रहे थे कि सर क्या होगा, मैंने कहा एवरेज ले लो 17.1 हो जाएगा. ठीक है. Why is this? So this is because the geographically 3/5 of Pacific is between. Pacific एक बहुत बड़ा part is tropical. 300 north नहीं, 330 degrees north and 30 degrees south. So what is happening here? It absorbs a lot of heat. That. So this is what we are talking about. And currents can make a difference. Currents bring ample cold water to Arctic. We're talking about Atlantic. Why is Atlantic relatively cooler? Because Atlantic में Arctic से भी पानी आता है कि नहीं? Does water from Arctic come into Atlantic? There is a huge gap. But when we are talking about Pacific, what is there? Pacific is having a block over there. Is everyone okay? चलिए ठीक है. ये temperatures हैं. Everyone, can you see this? What is the temperature? This is 25. This is 25. बीच में दिखाई दे रहा है थोड़ा सा हमारा उससे 25. Get that? 25. At equators, we might have some of the areas which are a little less. 25 to 20. Can you see reducing? Then 15, then 5, then 0. Everyone, can you see that the 5 is pushed in the Atlantic Ocean? Who's that 5? Everyone. 5 has been pushed upward. Who's doing that? Atlantic Ocean. Which current? Gulf Stream and North Atlantic Drift. Remember, फिर नॉर्वे तक जाते हैं. Do you get this? And Indian Ocean में सारा 25 है. Why? Because ये तो कटिया ऊपर से तो. True or not? It doesn't have that much water कि वो सारा heat यहाँ पे trap करता है. It traps a lot of heat over here. So that is why it is the second. Pacific Ocean. Can you see maximum heat? इतना area, maximum area is in this heated area. So it will absorb a lot of heat. So Pacific is the warmest. Second warmest is Indian Ocean, and Atlantic you can see is connected north and south, so it will have all those influences. Is map also clear to all? Data भी था, वो भी करवा दिया, map भी करवा दिया. Sea surface temperature generally represented by isotherms. Temperature decreases increasing distance from equator. So is it better to give it as a table? Sentence की जगह ये लिख सकते हैं. Yes or no? But the actual observation shows slight difference. The highest value of surface temperature is found to the north of equator. अच्छा, इसमें एक और भी चीज है. If you are looking at warm, this area is warmer compared to southern hemisphere. It has been found from research that the northern part of equator is relatively warmer. Okay, thermal equator hardly changes its position towards the southern hemisphere, so mostly northern hemisphere is warmer. This we have already looked at. In comparison to other oceanic bodies, the latitudinal decrease of air temperature of North Atlantic is very significant due to presence of Gulf Stream. Have we also seen the influence of Gulf Stream in that also? Thus, even in 50 to 70 degree north latitude, 5 degrees Celsius is there. Whereas in other bodies, it is not more than 2 degrees Celsius. Is everyone okay? Did we see at 60 degrees? At 60 degrees latitude, what is the expected value of temperature? What is the expected value of temperature from our table? 1 degree Celsius. But what is there in North Atlantic Ocean? 5 degrees Celsius. Can I call this as an anomaly? Can I call equator as an anomaly? Everyone, can I call equator as an anomaly? So please start understanding broad trends with anomalies, and anomalies will make your answer powerful. That you know the concept also. Is everyone okay? Heat budget, ocean heat budget. ये भी नहीं किया. So let's not get into this. So tomorrow's slide we'll be talking about heat budget if I'm able to finish that. So what is heat budget? And we will also combine both temperature and salinity to make it thermohaline, halothermal, and all those things. Halothermal stratification. What is stratification? वो कल करेंगे. Is everyone okay? So do we have data? Do we have slide? सब है आत्मा को शांति देने के लिए. Everyone, what is needed now? Buddhi. We need to understand the question. We need to select what is to be written and what is not to be written. Everyone with me? So we have looked at what is the influence, warm current and cold current also, and that we can do. Abhi tak, till now, I have been talking about surface temperature. Now I wish to talk about variations with depth. Vertical, variation of what? Temperature and salinity. Is everyone with me on this? Okay, sorry, nobody reminded me. 2 minutes break. तुम लोग बता दिया करो यार. So I need 15 minutes more to finish this topic. Get that? Give me 15 minutes. So let's have a 2-minute break. What is it? 2 o'clock now? 05 तक. Quickly have a break, everyone. I'm sorry, बीच में एक बार remind करा दिया करो when it is around 1.5 hour. I understand you people are also sitting. I'm also sitting. So it might be a long thing for us. So please do remind me. Okay then, let's start. Start करें? Is everyone back? So I want to tell you that 90% of heat that penetrates, permeates, or penetrate is a better word. Permeate is more for rocks. That penetrates sea surface is absorbed by top or upper 200 meter, 60 feet of water. Sun rays, insolations lose their effect beyond depth of 2000 meter, 2 kilometers, or 600 feet. Is everyone okay? So is it very clear? Is it very, very clear that in the oceans that there is going to be warmer, lighter water on top? Warm water expands, yes, and colder, denser water. Very simple. The rule begins that the with depth the temperature changes. So you ask me, generally surface. If this is the surface, my surface got tilted. If this is the water surface, everyone, ocean water surface, top 100 meters, or rather 200 meters ले लेते हैं. Remember 200 meters. I've already told you this is the photic zone. Photic zone. So what can happen? Sunlight can penetrate this. Is everyone okay? Penetration is possible. Photic. So what will happen when the heat is there? When the heat is there, heat will get redistributed or not? It will get redistributed. So I want to tell you that photic zone is the homothermal zone. Chalega? Homothermal means, remember, in atmosphere we had homosphere, heterosphere. So here what is happening? Mixing is happening. No? Heat is penetrating and heat is getting circulated. So more or less the temperature doesn't change. The only thing is it will depend on the latitude. Remember, latitude. So equatorial belt around 26, 20 degrees, 22, yes, and then 60 degree, 14. That's the average. 14 everywhere it will be 14. I hope you memorize that. Correct? Now after that, the heat becomes diffused. Heat becomes diffused. So this one, and up to 2 kilometers, remember, up to 2 kilometers. 200 to 1800 to 2000 meter. 60 feet is actually 1800. 60 feet is actually 1800. Here what happens? Diffused light comes. Diffused light comes, but what will happen? There will be a decline in temperature. Declines rapidly. Is everyone okay? Decline. This is called thermocline. Is everyone okay? Sun's heat is reducing. Sun's heat is reducing, so there is a rapid decline. After this, sun ceases to have an impact. If sun ceases to have an impact, whatever is the temperature here, generally reaches a temperature of 2 degrees Celsius. It will be more or less constant or not? Will it become more or less constant or not? So this will become more or less no change. Once again, homothermal. And almost at the depth of 4 kilometers, the temperature goes to around minus 1.6 degrees Celsius. Or rather, minus to we are not freezing. What is at the bottom? 1.6 degrees Celsius. Is everyone okay? Homothermal, climb. Which climb? Thermocline. Why homo in the top? Homogeneous mixing is happening. Why homogeneous in the bottom? Nothing is happening. You're not able to change anything. Why climb is showing such a steep decline? Because actually heat difference comes here only. Is everyone okay? Yeah, that's clear. Okay, everyone. I have to show. The question is show latitudinal vertical variation of temperature in oceans. Now this idea is too clear to all of you. Everyone, is the idea clear? Here what is homo over top, and then how climb happens, and then once again homo. Everyone clear? But the question is not asking you about general trend with depth. The question is asking what? Latitudinal bataiye. So I have a way of doing it. The books have a way of doing it. What they did was they made this as a x-axis and they wrote it as 0 degrees Celsius, 5 degrees Celsius, 10 degrees Celsius, 15 degrees Celsius, 20 degrees Celsius, minus 5 degrees Celsius. Is everyone okay? Can you mark that? X-axis is the bottom. Okay. Everyone, I want to show the temperature at equator. What is the surface temperature at equator, everyone? What is the surface temperature at equator? 26. 26 कहाँ पर आएगा? अगर 25 है तो can I say this is surface temperature of equator? Is everyone okay? 26. And I brought it till 200. I have brought it till 200. Why till 200? Why till 200? Homothermal. Very good. So what is the temperature at 2 kilometers depth? What is the temperature at 2 kilometers depth? So 2 degrees Celsius. Can I plot 2 degrees Celsius? 2 degrees Celsius plotted. What is at the bottom? 1.6. Almost the same. Can I bring this also, everyone? Are the two graphs ready? Will they apply to all latitudes? This bottom wala to will apply to all latitudes. And is the equator 26 degrees Celsius done? True. Okay. I want everyone to now do what? Pole. 60 degree latitude. What is the temperature? 60 degree latitude. 1 degree Celsius. चलो 1 लगा देते हैं. 1 इधर होगा. 2 से तो कम होगा ना? Can I say this is going to be 1? 1 degree Celsius. At what? 60 degree north. Is everyone okay? True. What is the temperature at 20 degree north? जल्दी बताओ. 20 degree north. 20 at 22. So can you plot 22 also? And what is at 40? What is at 40, everyone? What is at 40? 14. Can you plot 14? Everyone, have you done this? 22, 14. These are the average temperatures of surface in the oceans. Done? Now I have a very, very simple exercise for you if you are doing this with me. Done, DJ. Just connect this. Just connect this. Connect this. Oh yeah. Your graph for vertical variation of temperature is ready. And can you see a marked change, rapid change in the Klein region? Can you see a rapid change also happening? So everyone, what will be your answer? At equator or in the tropical latitudes, the temperature remains constant. The temperature remains constant for homothermal, then experiences a decline till 1800 meter depth, and then fairly constant. However, in the higher latitudes, after the homothermal region, there is a change in temperature, but instead of fall, there is a rise in temperature. Can you see that? Rise हो रहा है. So how can it rise? The surface is too cold, no? Can you see the difference? In one, as you go, so if anyone takes a dip in Indian Ocean, मैंने आपको धक्का दिया, आप नीचे तक जा रहे हो, so what will happen to your temperature? It will cool. Get that? But if I push you in Arctic Ocean, as you go inside, your temperature will warm up a little bit, 1 to 2 degrees. Do we get this? अच्छा, whose thermocline is steeper? Whose thermocline is steeper? Tropical or polar? Steeper. Steep में बहुत ज़्यादा change हो रहा है. Steeper. मतलब shame on you यार, shame on you. Graph नहीं देख रहे हो? Imagine, tell me a temperature change from 1 degree to 2 degrees and a temperature change from 26 to 2 degrees. Which one is going to be steeper, right? Where is the change of temperature steep? Where is the decline rapid and more pronounced? ये लोग यहाँ पे एंगल बना रहे थे, सोचो. They were making angle of a graph. धन्य हो प्रभु, हिला डाला. पब्लिक ये देख के, फोटो देख के स्टीप डिसाइड कर रही है. टेम्परेचर की स्टीपनेस की बात हो रही थी. सर पोलर स्टीपर. अरे चेंज फ्रॉम 2 to 1 पता भी नहीं चलेगा. It won't even पता भी नहीं चलने वाला. It is more or less. यानी सीधा ग्राफ भी सीधा सीधा ही जा रहा है. कुछ नहीं हो सकता यार. जो तुम करोगे तो तुम ही करने वाले हो. True or not? Can you handle vertical variation? Vertical variation. ठीक है. अब आते हैं सैलिनिटी की वर्टिकल वेरिएशन. Just like temperature, since temperature changes, will the salinity also change? स्ट्रैटिफिकेशन. ओके, सो जल्दी से बताओ मुझे what would be the salinity variations with vertical salinity variations? Zero to 200. What will it be? Again, homo haline. 200 to 1800. What will it be? What will it be? Halocline. This is homo haline. And once again, there will be no change. There will be no change. Is everyone okay? अब मैं आपको surface variation दिखाता हूँ. So surface salinity. Remember that graph? Salinity increases polewards. Salinity increases polewards. So equator का आपको बता रहा हूँ. Equator का salinity is slightly less than average. What is average? Remember 35? Slightly less than this. How much? 34.8. Can you tell me why? Can you tell me why? So because of rain and all that, we saw that. So थोड़ा सा slightly a patch of rain. अच्छा, where is the highest? So 30 degrees. Subtropical high pressure belt. उधर salinity कितना हो जाता है? High हो जाता है. ये सुनो. Clear sky, more evaporation. So there the salinity reaches 36.4. चलेगा? There you had memorized. There also you had memorized the values. Here can you memorize this? Polar regions, when we are looking at polar regions, 60 and above polar regions, salinity decreases to 32. ये that नॉर्थ पोल के आसपास अराउंड 31 हो जाता है. 31 नियर नॉर्थ पोल. Otherwise towards the pole it will come down to 32. Is everyone? Are we clear on this? If I make this as 35, if I make this as 35, everyone with me? $35.5, 36, 36.5, 34.5, 34, 33.5, 33, and whatever is there. Is everyone okay? So now let me plot at equator. What will be the salinity at equator? जल्दी से बताओ. Salinity at equator. 34.8 लिखा तो है, पता नहीं कुछ भी वैल्यू छाप रहे हैं यार. मतलब सामने स्क्रीन पे लिखा हुआ है तो भी 34.5. पूर्वी अपने तो फैक्ट भी मैंने कहा ना यार, कई बार ये फीडबैक दे चुका हूँ. पूर्वी मैकेनिकल मत सोचो, थोड़ा कॉन्सेप्ट लगा लो बच्चे. कह सकते हैं हमने कह दिया यार. So 34.8. Do we get that? 34.8. Salinity in the tropical areas is what? 30. So ये जो है ना, इसमें थोड़ा सा चेंज कर रहा हूँ. एवरीवन इक्वेटर को थोड़ा भी नहीं बनाएंगे. Just leave it like that. 36.4. 36.4. So what do we have? Can I say subtropical high pressure belt? Can I say if I'm looking at 60 degrees, 60 degrees 32 के आसपास होगा. पोल पे 32 चला जाता है, तो 60 degrees पे can I say it will be around 33? Is everyone okay? There is a problem with the equator. Equator has fresh water. Equator has fresh water. Get that? On the surface. Actually, salinity should have been higher, but because of that. So what happens is, in this the salinity is lower, and then we experience the salinity increases a bit, where the influence of fresh water is gone. Is everyone okay? Are you with me? What has happened? Equator has a patch of water which is fresh water. As a result, not fresh water, mixing of fresh water is heavy on that. So as a result, what happened? That area is having slightly less than 35, but actually because of the heat, it should be more. So here the salinity is more. This is equator color. Chalega? But it is not very high. The water and insolation is able to restrict it close to 35 only. In the oceans, it has been seen. That the salinity is around 35 only. Ocean bottoms. It is around 35. Is everyone okay? Now what do we have to do? Connect. connect. Aditya is saying, good afternoon, sir. I have to start geography optional subject. From where should I start? Aditya, there is a foundation. There is a comprehensive foundation course. You can start from there. The recordings are there. Go on my profile. Beginners Foundation. Do that. That will help you. ठीक है, ये वाली क्लास अभी एडवांस क्लास चल रही है. इसका क्या करें? ये तो यहीं पर है, इसको ऐसे कनेक्ट कर देते हैं. Is everyone okay? Everyone, did we get the answer? Has the figure changed a bit? Has the figure changed a bit? Have you seen ऐसे मूवीज में हीरोइन आती है, उसके पास ऐसा ग्लास होता है, ऐसा देखा ना, उसमें शराब होती है. ट्रू. आफ्टर कंप्लीटिंग दैट आई विल स्टार्ट दिस कोर्स. उसके बाद कर सकते हैं, उसके बाद बिल्कुल कर सकते हैं. ठीक है, उसके बाद जो टॉपिक चल रहा होगा ना, वहां से शुरू करेंगे. यू कैन स्टार्ट विद अ न्यू टॉपिक. न्यू टॉपिक इज बिगिनिंग ह्यूमन ज्योग्राफी. उससे कर सकते हैं. प्लीज विजिट माय प्रोफाइल बच्चे, यू विल गेट टू. पता है वो हीरोइन क्या पी रही थी? दिस ड्रिंक इज कॉल्ड मार्टिनी. अभी बताओ, सैलिनिटी का कर्व, ये मार्टिनी कर्व लग रहा है कि नहीं? मार्टिनी ग्लास कर्व. और उसमें एक वो भी होता है ना, ऐसे छाता लगा रहता है. सर मैंने कभी नहीं पिया. मैं कौन सा कह रहा हूँ पियो, फिल्म तो देखी है. नींबू भी लगाता है, चेरी भी लगाता है, सब लगा दिया हमने. ऑलिव लगा दिया मेगा ने, ऑलिव लगा दिया. ट्रू. मार्टिनी ग्लास कर्व याद रहेगा. व्हाट इज द होमवर्क? रीड vertical variation of temperature and salinity and एक write up दोनों के चाहिए मुझे. हो जाएगा. Have I given you enough masala? Have I given you the concepts also? The concepts are there with you. The graph is also there with you. Everything is there. थोड़ी सी referencing नेट से कर लेना. वैसे तो यहाँ पर sea surface temperature वो लिख के भी दिए, but vertical नहीं लिख के दिया मैंने. वो मटेरियल कल अपलोड भी हो जाएगा. जब तक नहीं होता, can you have a look at that? Because tomorrow we will then begin thermohaline circulation. Is everyone okay? Today we have talked about temperature, we have talked about salinity, everything is there. पूर्वी ने कहा ग्रुप पे सेंड कर सकते हैं, बिल्कुल सेंड कर सकते हैं. प्लीज डो नॉट राइट निबंध. वो जो लोग सिर्फ चेकिंग के लिए भेज रहे हैं कि कुछ भी लिख देंगे हम सिर्फ चेकिंग के लिए, आपके आंसर में आपका कैरेक्टर छुपा हुआ होता है. ठीक है, सो आई विल गेट टू नो हु इज रियली पुटिंग इन एफर्ट्स. हैव आई गिवन यू एडिक्वेट एक्सप्लेनेशन? यस. So that is there. So the homework is clear. The work has been done. The material has been given to you. I think the dictations are also there. You're happy with this? Think about it. Read something about it, and also see what is the significance of this vertical variation of temperature and salinity. Because tomorrow I'm going to talk about the thermohaline circulations. So thanks a lot. I hope we created value, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Take care. आंसर कौन से क्वेश्चन का लिखना है? अरे यार, इतनी देर से बता रहा हूँ. ये वर्टिकल वेरिएशन ऑफ टेम्परेचर. ठीक है, vertical variation of temperature and salinity, this is the question. Both temperature and salinity and its significance. Even the computer is saying बंद कर दो. अभी हो गया अनिर्बान क्लियर? Vertical variation of temperature and salinity and its significance. Thank you. Bye bye. Have a nice day.